Okay, welcome to the Prep Zone podcast. I'm Stu Pospisil with Mike Patterson, and we're into week 2 of high school football and volleyball. And Mike, you saw a very interesting game on Friday night. We'll take mine in a minute, but tell us about Westside and Prep quickly.
Well, obviously, tremendous rivalry there, Stu, and you're never really sure what's going to happen. And Westside, it was all Westside, new coach Paul Lamanji. I think the Warriors were out to make a statement there early. They raced to a 24-0 lead and just kind of nursed that lead for a while. And the third quarter was no scoring either team. And then Prep turned it around. First play of the fourth quarter, they ran about a 50-yard reverse, went in and scored again, got a field goal, got within 24-17, and actually had a chance to tie it there with about a minute and a half left. Junior Jays came up short, 24-17, so congratulations to Coach Lamanji, longtime Burt coach, who got number 1 with Westside. And, I think there was some hope there with Prep, too, the way they played, the way they ended. They've got a really tough start of their schedule. They're 0-2. They're at Millard North this week, and then they're at Gretna, so that'll be really tough. But, I think just the way they played in that fourth quarter really gave the Junior Jays hope for the season.
Tell us a little bit about that trick play with Sam Sledge, the Nebraska pledge. That rhymes, by the way, Sledge and Pledge.
Yeah, that was kind of call it the hook and ladder or the hook and lateral, whatever you call it. They threw the ball downfield, and the receiver lateraled it to Sam Sledge, who's 6'4", 280 or so. And the only unfortunate thing was that they didn't run it in the middle of the field because it was kind of over by the sideline, and he didn't have much room to run. But it was kind of one of those deep in the playbook type plays that was fun to see. Anytime you see a big ugly running with the ball, it's a great thing. It really got the Prep fans even more energized. So I think the play only gained maybe about 10 yards, but again, got the crowd even more into it, and they loved to see it.
Well, I was at Bellevue West game with Omaha North at Windy Kinnick Stadium on top of the press box, but came down to a 2-point play that Donovan with 2 ends, Whitfield, snuffed out, tipped away the pass by Omaha North with 4 seconds left, preserved a 28-26 Bellevue West win, combined with the win the previous week over Creighton Prep. Bellevue West 2-0 start. Mike Huffman, their coach in the preseason, had kidded that if they started 2-4, he probably wouldn't be seeing me the rest of the year. Well, at 2-0, I think there's a few games down the line that we'll be back to see. But I thought North gave a very good opening night effort. T-Shawn Porter got a little banged up, little sore ankle in the fourth quarter, but banged out 200-plus yards and a couple touchdowns, picked up where he left off at the end of last season, where he rushed for about 1,800 in North's late season push. And he looks like he's certainly a candidate for All-State honors already this early.
Great start for the T-Birds. 2 tough games, 2 close wins, 2 close losses for Prep. So
right.
I think they're going to get that turned around. I said Coach Huffman's done a great job there at Bellevue West, and a nice try by the Vikings. Obviously a great game, and it would have been interesting to see what was going to happen in overtime if they'd have made that 2-pointer.
Everybody, me would have been excited.
True. We're talking deadline.
Yep. On to our top 10s and number 1 teams coming out of the chute this week. Omaha Westside's first. Gretna remains second. Bellevue West moved up to third. Elkhorn South up to fourth in time for its game on Friday at Elkhorn Stadium against number 5 Millard South. Good win for Ty Wisdom, and his first game as Patriots coach, knocked off Millard West. That has a young team, and looks like they may go with a freshman quarterback for a while. Prep only fell to 6. Omaha North went from 6th to 7th. Kearney moved up. Papio South moved in, and Grand Island remains number 10. They host Westside this week, and are number 1s in the other classes. Bennington in Class B, Aurora in C1, Norfolk Catholic in C2, North Platte St. Patrick's in 8-man 1, Howells Dodge with a good win over Neely Oakdale to start the year in 8-man 2, and Potter Dix put up 85 last week in 6-man. So, Mike, you want to do your rundown?
85, that's a pretty good night.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about the overall top 10 in volleyball. And, a lot of it was dictated by what happened at the Bellevue West Invitational, and surprise, surprise, Lincoln East came away as the champion. They hadn't won the tournament since 1994, back in the Myron Oler King days, and so the Spartans zoom from being unranked in the overall top 10
going.
all the way to number 1. So congratulations to the Spartans. We'll see how long it lasts, because the one thing about that tournament, Stu, was it really showed me the parity that we're going to have this year. Papio South ran the table last year, 40-0. I doubt seriously if we're going to have an undefeated team in Class A again this year. But let's talk about our overall top 10. Lincoln East is 1. Omaha Skutt, our Class B number 1, 7-time defending Class B champion.
Why do I get a feeling they may get a shot at overall number 1 sometime during the season?
It could happen. It probably will happen. So we'll see. The thing about Skutt, and also with Papio South, which we'll talk about them in a minute, they've got new setters this year. So you're never really sure how that's going to go. It's always kind of a transition type thing. So, Skutt was trying... Ivy Luke was one of their top hitters last year. They were using her as the setter. But Renee Saunders, the coach, is kind of famous for tweaking her lineup. Even as the weeks go on, I remember a few years ago, it was about a week before the state tournament, and she was still tweaking it. The
formula works, whatever she's doing. So.
It resulted in another state championship, so you can never question what she's doing. So, Lincoln East 1, Skutt 2, Omaha West Side, another good team this year. Destiny Nadam Simpson, one of our Super 6, had a nice tournament. They were at the Bellevue West tournament. They were 4-1. They finished 3rd in the tournament, and they are 3rd in our top 10. Millard West 4th. Papio South, the defending Class A champion, is 5th. Rounding out our top 10, we've got Elkhorn North, number 2 in Class B. Lincoln Pius the 10th, Papillion La Vista, Lincoln Southwest, and Omaha Marion under new coach Jake Moore, the longtime Pius coach, who told me before the season started one of the things he had to do was to go buy some blue shirts because everything he owned was green.
I was going to say there had to be a garage sale for him somehow. So
he'd been at Pius forever. I think he's going to be a good fit at Marion. They went 2-3 in that really tough tournament, but I'm expecting the Crusaders to have a good season this year.
How about the other number 1s you got?
Well, we got Lincoln East in Class A, Skutt in B. We mentioned that. Grand Island Central Catholic in Class C1. And can you hang on a minute?
He's lost his feed.
I did lose my feed. Okay, there we go. Lincoln Lutheran, number 1 in Class C2. And I want to mention that Coach Ziegler's squad, they're 2-0, and they've already defeated Gretna and Waverly. So
wow,
two powers that, the fact that Lincoln Lutheran is C2 this year, and they're usually C1, so just shows that they've still got a lot of...
do they have a chance of cracking the overall top 10 with a strong start?
I definitely say so. In fact, I even looked at them this past week, and it's like, they're going to have to show me just a little bit more, but the fact they're playing those teams is definitely a positive. So Class D1, Maywood Hayes Center is number 1. And Class D2, our friends down at Fall City Sacred Heart.
Okay.
Number 1 to start the season. So, that's our all number 1s, all classes. Now that
that was good news for Sacred Heart. Their football team gave up 95 points last week to a Elmwood Murdoch team that I shot up. At least I had them ranked, Mike. But
wow.
I shot them up from 9th to 3rd, an 8-man one. Elmwood Murdoch had Hosier 6 touchdowns, 300 yards rushing, and Doug Goltz some seasons didn't give up 95 points in a game, but the Irish will be back, and
for sure. And that's the thing about the preseason ratings. You're going on a lot of what coaches think, a lot of what we think, but until they go out there and play a match or two or a game or two, that's where the rubber meets the road. Then you can kind of adjust your ratings accordingly. Right.
Well, top games this week in football circles. I'll be Thursday night, Omaha Creighton Prep, Miller North at Buell Stadium. Millard North won in overtime against Papillion La Vista last week, so 1-0 against 0-2 Prep, but Prep's had 2 close losses, and I think the Junior Jays are the favorite in that. And then Friday night, I'm going to be at Elkhorn Stadium for Millard South and Elkhorn South. South will win.
Mm-hmm. True.
But, I'm going to lean with Elkhorn South. They have a junior quarterback that threw for 3 touchdowns against Lincoln Southeast last week. Big front line. But Cam Kojo, Vanderbilt baseball recruit, he's in your territory in the spring.
Right.
Big start for them. I think he had 22 completions for 300-plus yards, 3 touchdowns against Millard West. So other good ones to watch on Friday night. Class A, Lincoln Southeast at Lincoln East, Omaha Central at Gretna. That's where Mike will be. We should have somebody at Omaha North and Millard West at Buell, West Side at Grand Island, and the Battle of Papillion La Vista, the Monarchs and the Titans, old school, new school. And in Class B, kind of a lighter schedule, but Grand Island Northwest comes to Omaha Skutt, Pius to Seward, Waverly's at Beatrice, North Platte goes to Scotts Bluff in a AB versus matchup. Norris is at Elkhorn on Thursday, and probably the 2 in the smaller schools that we're watching closely. Number 4, Boone Central in C1 goes to top-ranked Aurora. The Huskies moved down to Class C1 from B, where they were state runner-ups last year. And then number 1 in Class C2, Norfolk Catholic pays a visit to number 2 Ord. So a lot of good games. We get that with the non-district schedule. And go find a game someplace this weekend. Mike?
Yeah, I've got a couple of big volleyball matches. Tuesday night, Millard West plays at Papio South. Millard West handed Papio South their loss at the Bellevue West Invitational, so the early chance for redemption for the Titans, and they're playing at home where they're very, very tough. And on Thursday night, West Side is at Papio. I think that's going to be another good match, and Papio's another one. They have a great student section. They support the Monarchs very well. They have a new coach this year at Papio, Priscilla Peterson. Fans might remember her as Priscilla O'Dowd when she played at Papio and at Midlands. So I think it'll be interesting to see how the Monarchs handle that. This weekend, we don't really have a big invitational here around town. I believe the Beatrice Invitational is this weekend, and a couple others throughout the state. So this is kind of the first week that we'll get pretty much all the teams involved, and we'll see.
Well, this is the result of a couple years ago. They moved the start of volleyball season up a week, so the Bellevue invite got moved up, and actually works out well for the volleyballers because it is Labor Day weekend, and you don't have a Saturday turning in a lot of places. Kind
of our version of week 0, but the only downside was that final at Bellevue West was supposed to start at 2 o'clock, and just because of the parity of this year and all the long matches, it didn't start until about 4:30. So that was a long day for those volleyball teams.
Well, hopefully you missed the 4th quarter or whatever was on TV.
Yeah, but I saw the onside kick on the replay.
Okay.
So,
hey, this is your Nebraska Prep Zone podcast for this week. Come back in another week, and we'll discuss what happened and what will come ahead. Thanks for watching and listening.